New Zealand, a beautiful country comprised of two main islands in the Pacific. New Zealand has seldom seen conflict on its own shores, but what if a country set its sights on the remote islands? Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today I'm asking, what if Australia invaded New Zealand? It's truth. Before we sail into this video, I just want to ask you what the furthest you have ever been on a plane is. For me, I think it was 23 hours to Perth in Australia, although I did have 2 stopovers, but I was tired. Also, while you're down there, why don't you hit that thumbs up button and click on the notification bell to stay up to date with big answers. So, let's imagine a future wherein somehow Australia has gone all crazy and power hungry and wants to start annexing land to get a roll on that civilization building. Firstly, I have to speculate here, but surely, if this were to ever happen, it would have to be very far in the future. Australia is huge, 7.962 million square kilometers to be precise, the 6th biggest country in the world. Sure, some of its land is seemingly uninhabitable, but perhaps New Zealand would look pretty attractive as an overseas annex because of all of that delicious coastline and good living conditions they enjoy. At the moment though, there is plenty of space to house the 24 million Australian nationals and plenty of room to grow. Maybe space wouldn't be the motivation here though. Russia annexed Crimea, a part of Ukraine, as a power show. It already has more landmass than any other country in the world, and Russia just wanted to go for it. Maybe Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull would go rogue, or maybe a new leader with a game plan would make the power play. Both Australia and New Zealand have been reasonably passive in terms of recent worldwide aggression, although both did participate on a small level in key wars such as World War I, II, the Vietnam War, and more. Australia is much bigger than New Zealand, which has a population of 4.7 million. In theory, a bigger nation should be able to trounce a smaller, but in actuality, it doesn't always work like that. Let's compare the country's military stats. So Australia has an active military of 80,000 full-time personnel and active reservists, whereas New Zealand has just 11,000. Australia also by far beats New Zealand with its aircraft strength and naval assets. Australia has 469 total aircraft, New Zealand has 50. Australia has 47 naval assets, New Zealand has 11. Even though New Zealand is very defendable, if it were the two countries fighting alone in a numbers game, Australia would win. Of course, this would mean an end to the Australian-New Zealand Army Corps as allies turn enemies, which would be a crying shame here, as the two nations share a deep bond. Neither New Zealand or Australia have any nuclear weapons, or much in the way of firepower, so if Australia were to invade, it would likely be a naval operation, alongside a ground attack force. Of course, in traditional warfare, a successful invasion means capturing the capital city. With New Zealand, this is actually pretty tricky. The capital of Wellington is quite defendable. An invasion would be tricky along the naval passage between the North and South Islands, and fighting would largely take place along the Cook Strait, Fitzroy Bay, and Wellington Harbour. Again, Australia has better naval assets, but it depends who else was drawn into the fray. Firstly, it would be very interesting to see where Great Britain stood. Both New Zealand and Australia are former colonies and current members of the Commonwealth. The Queen is the head of state in both lands. If she was still alive when this invasion took place, I'm sure that she would try and talk some sense into Australians. Perhaps Britain would intervene, or perhaps they'd rather stay out of it. But when one first world nation invades another, NATO always has something to say on the matter. Neither Australia or New Zealand are members, but they are considered partners across the globe. What jurisdiction NATO would have in Oceania, I don't know, but the political superpowers across the globe would want an end to any aggression. The United States may have strong opinions if Australia could successfully invade New Zealand, because what about nearish Hawaii? Would they set their sights on that next? Would Australia be eyeing up Papua and Papua New Guinea? What about Timor-Leste and the Banda Arc? Australia may well need to be stopped, which would bring conflict to an area that has never seen the effects of modern-day warfare. It would be a grave day indeed. On a less grand level, it would not make any sense for the two nations to fight. They currently enjoy great trade relations and are bound by migration. Culturally, they share a bond bound by being two British-speaking nations on the other side of the world, if you will. The two countries have fought small-scale wars many hundreds of years ago, but to no avail. While they may have a sibling rivalry, the two countries, once joined by land 80 million years ago, know that they're better together. The only war this pair fights is those that happen a handful of times a year. Of course, I'm talking about the rugby, and people love it. So, that is what would happen if Australia invaded New Zealand, but unless something went really and truly wrong, it will never happen. The two are like peas and carrots. Peacetime is the best time. So guys, what do you think? Do you agree with me? Any Kiwis or Aussies watching? How are you doing over there? Let me know. To the rest of you, what video shall we make next here on Life's Biggest Questions? Also guys, if you like this video, why not hit that thumbs up button and click on the notification bell to stay up to date with big answers. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, I'll catch you in the next video, but until then, stay curious, stay alert, and never ever stop questioning.